All right. So this is my system for my creativity, right from how I come up with the ideas and why I want to create till the end. Like how do I publish and how do I be a stay consistent? It's in three parts. So first part will be um, the core, right? This is what I call the core or my guiding principles of why I create, right? Um, And of course, this is a little bit of an exercise, a little bit of introspection. And I recommend everyone to do it before they actually go on to their creative journey. And of course, it all starts with why, right? So, my recommendation start with, deep reflecting with why you want to do it. For me personally, is I create and express, right? With a core focus of unlocking human potential, right? And why I've come to this is, of course, based upon my personal experience, my reflections. Kanupriya is someone who knows why I have done this. I've shared with her very briefly my notes and my ideas why I came to this. But yeah, of course, this is my why I have come to this. Um, if you are starting on your creative journey, then I highly recommend that you start with your own why. And to find your why, I can recommend one program called Sketch Your Inner Self, run by Kumar Ahir. So that is also a very good exercise that which can help you there. So once you have your why, uh, then there are three other principles, guiding principles. First one is curiosity and inspiration, right? Which supports my why. Okay, right? Like, okay, why, if I have to unlock the human potential or I need to help others help unlock it, what are the other principles? What are the other learnings that, people can see, read, reflect, and, build themselves, right? My creative journey is also about creating sketch notes. Of course, I'm not a trained illustrator. So practice is my only way I can do it, right? So if I have to do practice, then the other guiding principle is just show up, right? No matter how good the drawing is, how bad the drawing is, just show up, just show for that, creating it. No matter it, don't really look at how it's looking. Um, Try to create it again and again if you want, so that you can practice better, you can create better, right? Sometimes some ideas don't come through in the first iteration. So try that again, but keep showing up on a regular basis. So that's another principle that I follow. And then the third one, right? If I want to help unlock human potential, that's great. But then not everyone is looking for help, right? Not everyone is looking for it. And there are times when people might say, okay, why should we listen to you? And that's fine. But there are still some folks out there in the world who would still need my help, or may still be inspired by my actions. So in order to get that better, the third principle that drives me is be detached from results, right? And it happens with most of us, right? Like sometimes we create kind of our best work. We put a lot of effort into it, and it does not receive any likes, any views, or anything, right? But it doesn't matter as long as you know your why is great, is your why is strong. Then it shouldn't matter. You just keep doing, you keep learning, and you keep creating. But as long you need to be detached from that results. So that's the third guiding principle that I have, right? And to surround it, what I have is the three main actions that I do. One is capture what I see, right? Capture ideas, capture inspiration, capture what I learn, right? Then the second action is create sketch notes, tweets, blog posts, right? So keep creating them. And last, of course, if I have to help unlock human potential, I can do that for the person right in front of me. But what if somebody say online who's looking for that help? So that's the reason. The third action that I have is publish, right? Always publish and share your work. Now, if you look at this closely, some of us will already know this is the first circle of why, this is the second circle of how, and last is this third circle of what, right? But if you look at it, I've started from the innermost circle of my why, and then I'm going outwards. So why, how, what. Um, this is really, really helpful. And of course, that's where my first book recommendation also comes. That is Start with Why by Simon Sinek. Very helpful book to find and understand why we need to start with this golden circle, um, and eh, definitely recommend it that you go ahead, adopt its principles. Um, any questions so far? Anything that you would like to understand more?
So, Jatin, just one thing, your how part here, can you elaborate on that?
Sure. So basically, if I have to help unlock human potential, right, I need to not only learn. So basically, this is how I learn, and then I create, and then share, right? So this is kind of LCS. If I have to help unlock, I have to learn myself. So here's how I will improve myself, right? And I here's how I will create what I have learned, and then of course how I will share it with others. Does that help, Kanupriya,
Yeah,
answer
yeah,
your
yeah.
question?
Thank you, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Any other questions? Awesome.
So, Jatin, I want to
Yeah.
understand if you have created any system around the creation part. So, first of all, capture is
Yes.
fine. I believe the capture is something that we go online, look around, let's say LinkedIn, Instagram,
Yeah.
um, and places like that, and see what others are doing and take ideas and inspiration
Oh
from
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
of course, these weekly warm up sessions or atomic sketches and things like that. But when it comes to the creation aspect, do you have the end goal in mind? Um, like
Yes.
you're going to share it, or like, can you talk
Yes. Yes.
about
Yeah.
that?
I think the second part where I will talk about the actual system may really help. So maybe Kumar, if you can hold that question for a while, and if the second part answers the question, great. Otherwise, we can do that deep dive.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. But any other questions? Okay. In fact, let me put it this way, right? First off, uh, the reason behind explaining all of this whole golden circle and everything is, if you know your why, right? And if you know how you're going to do it, and then what you're going to achieve, your how and why, then the system will automatically start building in itself, right? And you won't be really feel like giving it up because you know your why. If I give you my model or my system as is, you might really think, hey, Jatin, what is this? This is like crazy. Why do you have so many folders? Why do you have this system? Why do you sign up there? It will all seem like madness, but there is a reason behind the madness. That's what I'm trying to explain, right? Um, cool. In fact, let me jump into the second part. Right, that's where I think things will start becoming more and more clear, which I call part two, and I call the system. Right now, so if I have to do the three actions of capturing, creating, and publishing, we need a system around it. Now, I'm going to explain my system, and it works for me. But of course, it's kind of I'm broken it down into very basic terms, so this system can be replicated in um, any app or any pen and paper model or anything that you want to follow. Um, and it you can definitely customize and tweak it. You feel free to steal or copy anything, and it's absolutely fine. But my recommendation is absolutely need to have a system. Simplest reason being, we need to eliminate friction. That's the whole purpose, right?
Eliminate what?
Friction.
Okay, okay.
Eliminate the friction of creativity, right? Because primarily our brains, right? If I have to explain in technical terms, it's system one, it will always resort to the defaults. So system two has to come in and train that system one so that it will start picking up things. If I have to keep say it in the simplest fashion, the answer is yeah, we're all inherently lazy, but if we have to do that creativity, we have to make it easy, right? That's what it is all about. So how do we train our lazy brains? First off, start by creating an inbox, a dedicated, solid, strong inbox, right? That means anything that inspires you, anything that you want to capture, any idea that you get, anything you want to research on must go into this inbox, right? Um, yeah, of course, sometimes we may not have access to our inbox all the times. Sometimes we get ideas through our email, right? Sometimes we may capture something in our journal. Sometimes we may take a photo of what we like, right? Sometimes it could be just some digital note in some system, right? And the point is, it can be all dispersed or in multiple places, right? But having multiple inboxes don't help. So have one single inbox, right, where you copy and paste things. Now, once you have this, right, I've built my system based on the para method, which is by Tiago Forte. He's explained it in his book called Building a Second Brain, right? I'll put a short acronym that is BASB, where he says something very interesting, that is, organize your notes, your ideas by actionability, right? This is one very important point that he is kind of kind of called out. So organize notes by actionability, right? Our inboxes can also actually have our own tasks, right? Reflections, or some other ideas or anything that may not be really part of your creative channel, right? It could be something related to family, some phone numbers, some receipts, and everything. But they are not part. They may not be part of your creative system. So the idea is then to kind of break it down into folders, which I have built for myself. One is I called to research, and another folder that I've called is to draw. To draw being the focus where I create my sketch notes. So yes, I kind of filter out. The idea is to filter out what I really want my creative systems to be there, my creative pursuits to be there into these two, to research and to draw. Tiago also mentions that feel free to move around your notes. So one example, I use this very extensively. Sometimes I just capture an idea, perhaps something like, hey, this quote is very interesting, or this system is very interesting. So maybe I want to share it with the world, but I may not have enough information about it. So that goes into to research. Okay, maybe I'll need to do some things to read it online first, or maybe I need to ask around my folks and other creative folks also before I kind of create something. If I know already what I need to draw, it can directly go into to draw, right? Okay, it's ready for drawing and I can create it. Sometimes when I'm drawing, I feel like, hey, yeah, but I think I need more to do a little bit more research on it. Maybe I need ideas on how to express it. Maybe I need anchor images. Put it back into to research. And once it's ready, put it back into draw. It sounds crazy, but it works absolutely fine. The other way this also helps is sometimes you may not be in a position to draw, right? You want to, you don't have access to your stationery, you don't may not have access to your systems. What can you do? You can start researching on the pile of ideas that you have collected. You can still add some notes over here and some notes over there, and add some more text, some highlights and extra, so that when you are in the system and when you're in the zone, you have a free flowing creativity. The other reason to put it in this way is that when you have like created 5 6 ideas for drawing, you can just sit down and create all those 5 6 in one go, right? Nobody said that you only need to you start if you have the idea, then you must draw it out and then you must publish it. That's like a serial approach, right? We actually creativity works in parallel, right? You may have 4 5 ideas going on at the same time, in fact sometimes even more. So this system kinds of helps you to create um, or research as per what is the current context that you have. Are you near a system? Are you near a computer? Just go ahead and research whatever you were supposed to research. Are you with your pen and paper? Just go ahead and draw, right? Once you are ready, right? Once you think your drawing is finished, I have a third folder and I called it to publish. And then there's an actual final folder called published. Now, you may ask me why these two are separate then, right? Because if you're creating so many ideas and you put them all of them at the same time, there's a less chance of people will actually start looking at it. You need to also distribute your ideas over a period of time, right? That's how social media kind of works. That's how also sharing even works. Nobody likes a bundle of ideas. We also need to give people some time to reflect upon. So there's a separate folder where I create kind of like at least 10 15 automatically. If all of this is kind of working in flow, then there's to publish. And then I can of course also use tools like Buffer, which allows me to publish on multiple social media channels and in one go, right? So this kind of builds like a healthy system of continuous publishing, right? And once I've published it, once I've put it on buffer, I put it in published. The simple reason being this becomes like an achievements folder. So sometimes when I'm really down, sometimes I don't really think, then I look at my published folder, I just see the count there, and it helps me, really helps me understand, oh, this is so much of work I've created. In fact, right now also just before the session, I kind of looked at it and I saw that I have over 600 plus artifacts there. So that includes sketch notes, blog posts, and small info sketches that I create, and it kind of gave me even self um, kind of you know appreciation that I have created so much in this with this healthy system or pipeline. Yeah, but the main idea is the eliminate friction part, right? That's the best. That's the biggest thing that you need to do. Now, if you think this is really crazy, why do we have so many folders? It's actually not, right? It's, if you look at it, nobody, even the best creators in the world will not be working on one single project at one time. They will be creating on multiple things, but they absolutely need a system to work through and create. Right, cool. So that's a little bit about my system. Any questions on how this works out, or how any other questions that you may have?
Jatin. So this is really interesting. But
Hmm.
this inbox thing. So when
Yeah,
you say inbox, what it is? I mean, folder part I understand, but
yeah,
say for example, you are capturing there, right? It is basically for capturing.
yeah.
So is it like a note or it is a notion? I mean, what kind of folder it is where you can write
Yeah,
or images or how it is?
yeah, correct. So that's a good question, Kanupriya. In fact, I've based all of these systems in Apple Notes. Primarily, reason being, it allows me Siri integration. So even when I'm driving the car and I see something interesting, I can just dictate it and capture it. But these are just folders, right? All of these are just folders, right? So the point is, you can set this up in Notion as well. Or if you are not comfortable with digital systems, you can even make pen and paper. You can even replicate this and create this in your bullet journal, right? Because you can create a collection. All these four can be simple collections or in within your um, bullet journal, and you can start making a note of it. So that's how it is set up.
So where I'm coming from more is when you say, especially in the research folder, let us say, you
Yeah,
said you make note, and when you research, if you get more ideas or you build over that idea, basically.
correct,
Yeah.
correct.
So you keep on adding to that particular topic.
Yes, yes.
So the next question emerges is then how do you do the cross connection? I mean, across, let us say some topic resonate with multiple ideas, or
Yeah.
uh, so how do you do that?
Because if I feel that it's going to take a little bit more, or it takes a cross pollination, or it will require, then I keep it in my research folder and combine those two nodes together. That's how I do it. Sometimes I yeah, even in fact what I do is I create a larger version of the sketch note. For example, when I was kind of creating a note on an info sketch. It was a small sketch which I kind of started on a building on a smaller A6 scale. But then I've thought, okay, no, this topic needs bigger and bigger ideas. So I put it down into a larger A4 version of it because I had created so many ideas across the other things. Does that help answer the question, Kanpriya? Or it's still.
Yeah. More, I was okay. I was more asking in terms of so let us say one topic is connecting to two different ideas or thought processes, right?
Okay. Okay.
So, like what I do is I make a tag. So,
Hmm.
like So if one article is pointing to two or three different ideas, I just tag them with that idea.
Okay.
So that's what I was trying to understand here. Like, how do
Okay.
you do that cross
Okay.
connection?
Yeah. So I generally don't do that tagging,
Mhm.
right? But some Apple Notes, yeah, it does support the tagging feature. But because there are so many concepts and all that, I don't really use that. What I usually do is I just add a note, something like see also,
Oh, okay.
and okay, and then add a reference to that particular topic. And because
Oh,
this is Apple Notes has a good search feature, then I can cross pollinate or cross connect the ideas. In fact, if you've seen so far, um, okay, so I started with, yeah, if I look at it, right, starting with why was from this concept, right, and then building the system actually came from this book, right. Eliminating friction came from the Thinking Fast
they,
and Slow by
yeah.
Daniel Kahneman, right? Then this buffer and all such systems come from hey, what are the best ways to share online and all of that. So yeah, I agree with you that sometimes we do need to cross ideas, but what I usually do is I mean, I don't if you it's up to you finally. You can use tagging, you can add labeling, and all of that is fine. What I usually do is I just mention see also so and so note to understand how to further improve upon it, because yeah, it's building upon ideas, you're right. But yeah, it's how complicated or how simple you want to make it, it's all up to you.
Thank you so much. It helps.
No problem.
Sorry, it took a lot of time, but yeah, I needed to
Hey, no
understand.
worries, no worries, no worries. And in fact, that's why I kind of I'm going slow on this, and I'm happy to explain. And of course, this is my system; it works for me. If you want to replicate this as is in any of the tools that you use, go ahead and use this. And if you feel any issues, or hey, this is how do I do this, or maybe I need a separate setup. Yeah, feel free to let me know. I can definitely help you out with it. Okay. But the idea is overall main idea that I want to share. If you look at it closely, right? If I'm where I'm circling, this is my um, first action that I captured. That is capture part, right? If you look at these two folders closely, this is my do part. This is my creativity part, right? And the last, these two are in fact this setup is my um, the creation and the publishing part, actually, in fact the publishing part, to be more honest. And each of the steps I'm trying to make it as frictionless as possible. That's the core idea. Once you get that, I think anywhere you set it up, it's absolutely fine. People can make this work even with pen and paper.
Mhm.
Cool. Any other questions?
Jatin, will it be possible for you to kind of not just share the inbox how it look like? Uh,
Yes,
if
yes, absolutely will do. But it will not be part of recorded session because my Apple Notes is also filled with my own personal lot of stuff, and
Yeah,
I'm happy
yeah.
to share with you all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can do that in the end. I
Yes.
stopped the recording that time.
yeah, yeah.
One more question.
Sure.
So uh, for me, it has always been no capture on the go, and
Sure.
that's what. So again, I'm not going against this system, but for me, it's always on the go or ad hoc. Like
Yeah.
I see something, I create, and that's what it goes into publication. Sometimes it might not get published also,
Yeah.
but I really like the system of how structured it can be, and I also like the frictionless part because for me that motivation, no, it has to be kind of no motivated to get it published.
Yes.
Then it
Yeah.
doesn't become a consistent way of sharing.
Yeah.
But this structure kind of or this system makes it possible to consistently publish things and share your thoughts around it.
Correct. Correct. And I really, really recommend, this is my second recommendation of the day, um, for book actually. So recommended read is the Build Second Brain. Or if you don't want to go through that book, you can also directly go into The Para Method by Tiago Forte. And there are some other short videos also. um, it kind of really helps, right? Like, because ultimately, yes, in today's world we'll have a lot of digital artifacts, right? We have our photos, we have files, and we have some other PDFs and JPEGs and PNGs and everything you'll have. But then, if it's in one system, if it's another system, it may be, it really does not help. um, and to be honest, Kumar, going back to your point that you made, very interesting one. um, Even I used to do it very serially, right? Okay, I'll capture something, I'll work on this, and then I'll publish it. But then I came across a very important tip, which I'm going to share as part of my next part, the tips part. And that's where I think I started working. Hey, this will not work for me, because at any given time, sometimes I have a lot of ideas. So I will keep capturing those ideas, but I should not be losing them. So I need a placeholder where I can keep them and come back to that idea later on. And that's where this whole thing kind of works, the to research and to draw. In fact, this is something for simplicity. When I show you my actual system, you'll go even crazy, because it has much more deeper, complex, and everything. But it's this is just for simplicity. I've broken it down into so many folders. Cool. Any other questions? I hope I'm not overwhelming you guys.
Yeah,
Not
this
at
is
all.
the
Yeah,
toughest.
seems to be fine.
Yeah, that means this whole system is the most toughest part of keep
Yeah.
creating and organizing, because a lot of things are offline in paper.
Yes. Yes.
And that's why I align with Kanupriya question also. So sometimes when we want to publish 1 week or 1 month, it's a theme. But for that theme, we have different references, different places, and how to tag it and search it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that those questions were coming. So how do you, for you, everything is digital, the Apple Notes? Books are the
Yes.
only offline, or books also you read in your tab
Yeah, books also I read in my Kindle, and what I do is I export the highlights, and I have a different
device.
system in all of, yeah, different systems for a different, yeah, all that all setup is different. But ultimately, it will, if I want to create something out of it, it will land up in the to draw section or to research section ultimately.
Okay.
So yeah, it's basically, this is the core part, right? Like the actionability part.
Mm.
Really, if you want to do it by action, or what action you want to take on it, then you
Mhm.
need to have a folder in your system somewhere where you can capture all of it, right? And to label it based upon your um, context is the easiest way to do it. To give this more clarity, Kanupriya writes, right? So she can have a folder called to write, right?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Right? You may have something, we are writing a book on, or, because Kumar shares kind of his blogs um, on Substack, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
he can also create something like, okay, yeah, this is something that I need to write. And this, in fact, that's what I have, where to research can move to write, and it can supplement with my to draw.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that sounds
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, and to research, to write, to draw. Yeah.
Cool.
I personally highly recommend Para method. That helped me a lot to liberate from my, the static notions of this has to be just at one place, this cannot move.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that flexibility brings, how do I say this? Lot of satisfaction that, okay, it is not like you have left something in between. That mindset or
Yes.
that block is gone.
Correct. You're absolutely correct. And that's what Tiago also mentioned, in fact, it was not clear to me the first time I read the book. It was actually came second time when I was reading the book, building a second brain, that where I caught up on that point that do not be afraid to move around your notes. We actually are very stagnant. Oh, okay. Many a times, in fact, a lot of stuff stays here in inbox, and it's fine. Sometimes we don't have the time to sort through, but once you have the time to sort through, you can keep changing it based on the action that you want to do, right? And once you're in that action zone, you can, if you feel that yeah, I thought I'm ready but I'm not ready, I think I need some time, yeah, go ahead, move it around, it's fine.
And Jatin, just to add to that, for me, the best part of Para method is archive folder.
Yeah.
It brings so much of clarity to your project folder that you
Correct.
just simply keep it out of sight for now, and you don't feel burdened because you know from anytime you can move from archive to project folder.
Wow.
So
Absolutely.
that is very beautiful thing.
Yeah. Cool. Good to see the para method also helping out others. And of course, this is, I mean, there is other getting things done methodology by David Allen. You're free to follow that. But as long as you have a system, that's the main part, right? Like which eliminates friction, core of this. Okay, cool. Kumar, how are we doing on time?
We are 13 minutes away.
Oh, wow. Okay. Then let me jump into part 3, which is the tips, right? So, uh, one of the first tips is actually not really a tip, but yeah, it's a real example of how creativity can actually pursue in parallel, and it should be. And it comes from Bill Watterson, right? My favorite creator of all time, who created Calvin and Hobbes series, right? So in one of the interviews to someone, I forgot the name, he was asked the same question, that how do you create, how did you consistently create Calvin and Hobbes with such good quality, right? And his secret was he never used to work on one thing at a time. He would actually have 4 to 5 comic strips running at the same time. Now that really surprised me. And then he kind of pointed out that yeah, he will be jumping around between them. He will be editing something, then he will, if he is kind of bored with that, then he will go ahead and ink something that he's already created. Sometimes he will go back into some other note and he'll go and color there. Sometimes he will need some more ideas, so he'll draw some rough sketch here. But all of this used to happen in parallel. So this kind of like really blew up my mind. Yeah, I don't think I need to do one thing at a time. I can actually change back and forth as well, as long as actually there are multiple ideas I have, a steady stream I have, and yeah, I can publish them also in a steady stream, one at a time. It kind of becomes like a full system. It also allows to explore more of it rather than okay, yeah, I will be creating one thing and I just want to focus on one thing. Second important tip is having a dedicated time block for creativity, for your personal passion. It really helps. Try to set up one time, right? Yeah, and if you can find that in your daily routine, that is a big booster, I would say, right? So um, yeah, try to create some dedicated blocks as per your time. But again, of course, not sometimes life is random. Sometimes challenges come through, personal issues can come up, a lot of things can happen. So the third tip that I can help with is basically habit stacking, right? And this comes from James Clear's Atomic Habits, right? Where he says, stack your good habits, build upon it one another. So basically, it works out like this. I will do habit, then I will do habit two. Habit number one followed by and habit number two followed by habit number one, and so on and so forth. Right. So how can you do this? So something that I do, or what I've built mostly around my personal routine, because sometimes even dedicated blocks can betray me, is I will do daily warm up, then I will draw atomic sketch. Right. In fact, you can even build upon it. So I will do daily warm up, then I'll do atomic sketch, then I will draw something from my to draw folder. Right. So basically, I'm stacking habits together in one go. In whatever time block I find, I can start creating something or the other. Right. And if I pick something from my to draw folder, it may be something that I'm editing, or I'm probably inking, or maybe I'm coloring, or maybe I'm just creating a rough sketch. It's fine as long as you just show. Right. So, and that's the reason, in fact, because of this system has actually saved me a lot of time. My third recommended read for today is Atomic Habits, James Clear, an excellent book to create a kind of a workflow, build good habits. I'm also looking forward to reading the workbook, or following the workbook. I will just give it a try to see what it is all about. Any questions or any comments over here?
I completely endorse the time boxing.
Yeah.
Because it worked for me so beautifully when we were doing the inner self
Right.
program. Because
Yeah.
that is when, as I told, I got engaged with a new project, and it was very hectic time. And
Mhm.
only this thing helped me to even do those bigger sketch notes only
Yeah.
because of time boxing. And
Yep.
I was sticking to it. Yeah. So thank you for that.
No problem. Hey, in fact, for everyone, what I also recommend is some bonus reading material that I definitely recommend. One that is Show Your Work, and in fact, even Keep Going, both by Austin Kleon, right? They are really, really good books. Also, again, and if you look at it, right, all of this, all of my system, and all of this is based upon some of the great books that I've read. Show Your Work, Keep Going, Atomic Habits, Start with Why, Para Method, and all of that. So reading definitely helps. The more you read, more it changes you. And of course, yes, sketchnoting, because it kind of slowly changes you. It's just not enough to read. It also more important to kind of put it all into action. You may not really fully adopt the book, but at least if you pick up one concept, just one concept, it can really, really help you. Okay, cool. Any other questions or comments?
I have been a great proponent and user of habit stacking since really long,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
this has helped me like set structure to my morning practices. Like wake up, have a glass of no warm water, and while doing that, journal, and then followed by no atomic sketch, and then no reflection, and then building upon small ideas. But one thing that I was really lacking was to have that system of organizing the thoughts and works
yeah,
um, intended towards building that knowledge over a period of time, and then making it something which is, I would say, share worthy. And when I'm saying share worthy, it is not in terms of how beautiful it looks like, but
Yeah.
the insight that it will drive. Like there will be spark, and there will be something that myself first of all will say that, okay, this is the learning or wisdom I have got. Um, so great. Thanks, Jatin, for this. I think January will be the month wherein I'll start
Yeah.
practicing this, and I'll try to incorporate this in the next or future SY Sketch Your Inner Self program, which is how do we provide system to new folks who are just new to Sketchnotes.
Yeah.
It was easier for us because we have been doing that since quite some time, but for anybody who is just getting started, it looks like a daunting task to do it every day. So yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Awesome.
All right, I'll hit pause, stop recording, and Jatin, then you can share your.
Okay. So I hope you guys can still see my
Wait,
screen.
wait, 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 wait. I have not stopped recording.